welcome, and happy Wealthy Wednesday. I am so glad to be here with you today. My name is Cheryl Thomas, and guess what we're doing? Yes, we're on our 30-day Get Your Life Challenge. It has been my distinct honor and privilege to be here with you. We're on day 22. Can you believe it? 22. So I want you to get your friends together. I want you to share this with everyone that you know. We are rolling through these days. We are having an amazing time during these days, and we will continue to do so. So, for those of you that are watching me live, hey, so good to see you. And for those that will watch me on the replay, I want you to say replay in the comments so that when I go back to the comments that I can welcome you and say hello. If you do not know me, my name is Cheryl Thomas. I am a minister, I am a best-selling author, and I am a certified life coach. And here on all my social media channels, I inspire women of faith, who I affectionately call church girls, to live, to love themselves, invest in themselves, to value their voice, and to experience big fun. So I hope that that's one of the reasons that you are here. So whether you're joining me on Facebook, whether you're joining me on YouTube or Instagram, welcome to the 30-day Get Your Life Challenge Day 22. And on today, we're going to be talking about money. And our topic today is get a budget. That's right, get a budget. And I wanted to talk about this, and I told you on yesterday that this is what we would be doing for the next several days. We're going to be talking about money and how we use it, how we apply money, how we see money, our money experiences. And we talked about that on yesterday. So if you missed that one yesterday, Fix Your Money, I want you to either on YouTube, I want you to go back, or either on my Facebook page, I want you to go back and watch that one. This is going to be building blocks, so you'll need that one. Don't jump off of here, but I want you right after you listen to this one today to actually go back and check that one out, because we're talking about how we see money, how we use money. And today we're going to be talking about how we budget our money. And I know for some people, budget is not a good word. We don't like to hear budget. We don't want people talking about getting budgets. But I just want to read the Merriam-Webster's definition of what a budget is. And it says, a budget is a plan for the coordination of resources and expenditures. And so what I want to ask you today is, do you have a plan for your money? Hey, Tatiana, thanks so much for joining. Yes, day 22, and you are here. Do you have a plan for your money? I remember several years ago when I was trying to get my money act all the way together, I would just spend. I knew I made a certain amount of money, and I thought I was doing okay if the money that I made was more than the money I spent. It didn't matter where I spent it. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't overspending, that I was never in the red. And so when that was the case, I thought I was doing okay. But what I realized is I didn't really know where my money was going. And that's why I gave you that assignment on yesterday, just to look back over the last 7 days through your bank account, whether you have it on your phone, whether you keep a check register. I wanted you to look at that because I wanted you to see where your money is going. And I remember the first time I did that exercise, I was walking through one of Dave Ramsey's programs, and I said, well, let me see where I'm spending my money. And I think for like 30 days, I would catalog everything that I spent. And I realized, and I told my family members, that I was eating my money. Most of my money went to eating out. When I went through my check register, I would just look down and I'd be like, oh, Papa Do's. If you don't know that, that's a fabulous restaurant in Texas. Or I'd look and I'd see McDonald's, or I'd see Cheesecake Factory. I was eating my money. That was the lion's share. And I wanted to just check to see how far I've come. And so I said, well, let me look back. I'm asking everybody else to look back over the last 7 days. So let me look back at mine as well. And so I looked back the last 7 days just to see where my spending was. And my spending was ministry, church, savings. Now it was food too, because I still do like to eat. So I still do eat pretty good. And let me see what else it was. And bills. That was the lion's share of my money that I spent. Oh, and business expenses. That was the other one. That was where my money was going. And so it is always good to do inventory to see where your money is going, because I need you to start giving your money assignments. I want you to say that I need to give my money an assignment. That's so that at the end of the month, you're not wondering where your money went. If you're making $50,000, $60,000 a year, if you're making $20,000, $30,000 a year, and that equates to, let's say, $2,000 a month, do you know where that money went? Can you account for every single dollar that you spend? And so I'm going to ask you to be a better steward over your money by getting a budget, so that not that a budget is going to restrict you. What I found for myself was a budget gave me freedom, because I decided where I was going to spend my money. And I'll give you, at the end of this, I'll give you some really good resources that will help you do that well. But before I do that, I want to go to one of the scriptures I want to undergird what we're talking about, and that's Proverbs chapter 24, verses 3. Let's see. I think I'm going to do just verse 3. No, 3 and 4. Proverbs 24, verses 3 and 4. And I'm going to read in the New International Version. It says, by wisdom is a house built, and through understanding it is established. Through knowledge its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures. So what I want you to know is that you'll have to have wisdom and knowledge to be able to effectively use the resources that your source, God, has allowed you to obtain and attain. So it will take God's wisdom for you to do this well. And so I want you to invite him into the process of actually knowing how to budget, where to put this money. And so for me, I know one of the top things that I don't even think about is just second nature. Whenever I'm doing my budget, tithing comes off the top of my budget. It's something I don't even count in my money. It's just, just second nature now that I've been doing it for so long. So I want you to, when you are writing this budget, I want you to look at where you spent your money, because I'm not going to ask you to not spend money in the places that you've been spending money. I'm just going to ask you to allocate a certain amount of money to that. So if one of your things is like me, I love to eat out. I don't do it as much since COVID, but before that, that was one of my things that I love to do. And so I'm not going to ask you not to do what you love to do. I'm just going to ask you to put a dollar amount on that. How much are you going to spend every month on that thing? I need you to give that thing a number. And then I need you to be faithful and consistent to that number, and not decide, well, no, I think I'm going to go over this month. No, I think I'm going to do something different. I'm going to ask you to do that. And I know you may be thinking, sure, that's going to be hard to actually do that. I'm not good with Excel. I don't want to, put together spreadsheets and all of that to figure out how I'm going to be spending this money, or which assignment I am going to be giving. Well, I want to give you some resources. And the first one I'm going to give you is the one that I actually use, that I've been using for years, that has been really, really helpful to me. And that is an app called Every Dollar. I love this particular app. I love Every Dollar because it allows me to actually track my spending. And what it allows me to do is it allows me to say, this is how much money I make. Hey, Leslie, thanks so much for joining. Yes, how much are you going to spend on your favorite thing? Yeah, give it a dollar and make sure you stick with it. But back to the app Every Dollar. what it allows you to do is input your income. How much do you make a month? And so it'll allow you to input your income. And I'm just going to pull it up so I'm not going by memory, so that I can walk you through the app. And then what it allows you to do is it allows you to put in how much you're going to give for tithes. You know, put in what's your cell phone bill. What do you spend on electricity? What do you spend on gas? What do you spend on actually your bills? So it allows you to put all of that. What do you spend on your car note? What do you spend on car insurance? And then it goes through your giving. Now, even though I tithe, I also give to other ministries. I'm partnered with some other ministries. And so I always include whatever that monthly recurring gift that I give to that particular ministry. I have that included on my app. And also I have just included just recently a line item on my giving. It's called random giving. Giving because I've just made a thing for me, and this is not something you have to do, that every week I want to give somewhere. Every week I'm going to find somewhere to bless somebody, to help somebody. So that's another thing that I do. It also has savings on here. How much are you willing to save every month? Thank you, Leslie, for putting that up there for me. How much are you going to save every month? If you have a savings goal, what is that going to be? What is that going to look like? How much are you going to allocate to that? It has all of your housing expenses, your mortgage, your HOA, water, cable, garbage, and then your car expenses, car replacement things, food, your lifestyle. For those of you that have pets, they have a space for that, clothing, hair care. And so what it does is it gives you line items for every single thing that you may have in your life, that you may, an expense that you may have. So what it does is it takes the amount that you have allocated as your income, and every time you key in an amount that you spend, it's going to minus that. And the object is for you to get that to zero. So get the app name Every Dollar. So you have an account for every single dollar that comes in. And so that way you can track how much you give, how much you save, how much you do every month. And so you're not like, oh, I feel strapped, I can't go out every month. Well, if I've already allocated as a budget line item that I'm going to spend $100 every month going out, then when I go out, I don't have to feel guilty about it, because why? It's in my budget. And so when I go to let's say PF Chang's, I don't have to feel bad because I allocated that. I have that in my budget. So when I spend it, I know that I am okay. I'm not going outside of my budget to do what I want to do. So make sure that when you are putting your budget down, when you are scheduling that, that it entails the things that you do in your life, which is why I asked you to go back and look at your last week's spending so you can see, where am I spending my money? Then you can start budgeting that amount so that when you spend it, then it's not like, oh my gosh, I don't know how much I'm going to have. I know that every month I am going to have overflow. I know every month that I am not going to overspend. And when you say, well, how are you going to have overflow if you're allocating every dollar? I'm going to have overflow because I have savings on my in my budget. I have savings in my budget, whether it's saving for investments, whether it's saving for my emergency fund, which we'll talk about later this week. I have that already in there. So if something happens, I have the money. I don't have to worry about it. So how much do you want to give every month? How much do you want to give to be a blessing every month? Put that in your app. Put that in your budget. How much do you want to save every month? Put that as a line item in your budget. And so saving doesn't have to be like this ethereal thing, like, how am I going to save $5,000? Well, if you save a certain amount every month, what do you need to save $5,000? How much do you have in your expendable income? Well, I'll need to save this month, this much every month to get there. And so it becomes a doable thing, and it's not something that you're fretting over, like, oh my gosh, can I do it? Yes, I can do it. I'm going to do it just like this. And so it becomes easier. So that is the particular app that I use. You can also connect that app to your bank account if you want to. And so it'll keep a running tally of what you actually have in your bank. Now, me, I'm a little funny. I don't have my every dollar connected to my bank account because, yeah, I just don't. But you could if you wanted to do that. Now, just the app by itself is free if you want to do just what I do, which is just tracking my spending, tracking my income, and doing it that way so that I get a visual picture of what that looks like. But there is a portion of the app that unlocks additional features if you want to connect your bank account with it. There's an additional monthly fee for that. Another one that started this whole phenomenon is called Mint. So Mint is another app. It is very, very similar to Every Dollar, where you can do the same thing. You can track your bank accounts. You can track your investments. It'll give you bar charts and how much it'll cost you. Let's say you're trying to pay down a debt. There's debt calculators in most of these apps where you can say, well, I want to pay off this credit card. If I pay this amount a month, how long is it going to take me to actually pay it off? Most of these apps have those kinds of debt calculators in them so that you can do it. And this one I had never heard of, and so I wanted to offer it to you. I haven't used it, but it's called Albert. And when I was reading the reviews on Albert, it is for millennials, for the young people who are just starting, your savings journey. You're just starting your whole budgeting and your financial freedom and financial fiscal responsibility journey. This is an app that they said is good for young people. So check out the app Albert when you're looking to make sure that you know where your money is. Because I wish I would have done this, and I'm going to say this before I jump off. I wish I would have done this 20 years ago. And here's the thing, somebody probably told me 20 years ago and I just didn't do it. So I'm hoping, especially if you're young and you're listening, that you actually do it, because it'll put you so much further ahead. I could have been so much further ahead if I would have just listened to my grandfather and my father, who said, save your money, put money aside. I could have been so much further. But so I'm hoping if you're young and you're listening to me that you're not like me and you actually do this, okay? Actually do the steps to save money so that you can invest. And so when you see an investment or you see a company that you align with and you would like to invest in that company, that you can. If you see properties that you want to invest in, that you can, because you've saved money for a down payment for a duplex or a multi-family property, you can actually do that because you've saved and now you have an income source. We're building generational wealth. That's what we're going to be talking about, building generational wealth. So get a budget, find and look through some of these apps. And thank you so much, Leslie, for dropping those in there in the comments for me. So y'all look in the comments. She's also listed all of the apps, Every Dollar, Mint, and Albert. Now there's so many more. Those are just three that I wanted to give you so that you could have it. Tatiana says, I would have been working on my finances instead of having so many others with my time and money. Yes, yes. I think that's all of our testimony. We could have been so much further along if we had been paying attention. But we're going to ask God to redeem the time. God, redeem the time, redeem our money so that we can pull these resources together, so that we can get about our Father's business, so that we can be a blessing in this earth. Yes, Leslie, because we want to build generational wealth. We want to pass on generational wealth so that our children inherit more than tears when we're gone, that they're inheriting properties, they're inheriting apartment complexes, they're inheriting motels, they are inheriting islands, they are inheriting 401ks filled with cash, that they have a jump start in their lifetimes, that they come in with wealth, that they are 21 years old. I'm going to stop by saying this. I was watching one of the people I follow on my Instagram channel, and she's always talking about building wealth. And her daughter was having a baby shower. And what they gave her daughter for the baby shower was they gifted her, the daughter I think was having a daughter, she was having a girl. They gifted the baby girl with her own apartment building. Y'all, I was floored. I was like, now that's how you do it. That's how you do it. Gifted her an apartment building. This child isn't even born and has an apartment building in her name. And what they're doing is, after all of the expenses, they're taking all of the proceeds and putting it in a fund that is going to just gain interest over her lifetime. So by the time that young lady is 18, 20 years old, she's not only going to have a multi-million dollar apartment building, she is going to have multi-million dollars in the bank in liquid cash. That's what I'm talking about, generational wealth. She's going to have real estate and money 18 years old. That's how we build generational wealth. We have to be forward thinking. And the first step of building it is putting yourself on a budget so that you can do that. Yes, Tatiana says, Rick Ross also did the same thing with his child. He gave them a business. Yes, instead of us having all these parties where we're spending thousands of dollars, give these children something that's going to pour into their future, that is going to put them ahead in life. And so I know for some people it may be uncomfortable for me to be talking about money in our Get Your Life Challenge, but you need money to live your life. And so we're going to talk about the things that are necessary to put you forward. So get a budget, get your money in order. God has a blessing with your name on it, but you'll need to have the mindset to receive the promises. And I have made the decision that every promise that God has attached to my name, that I'm going to put myself in the position to receive it, that I will have the education, the knowledge, the skill sets to steward well everything that he's put at my hands to do. I hope you all have been blessed by our challenge on today. We're going to jump a little deeper on tomorrow. So I will see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And if you haven't already, I want you to make sure to share this with somebody. Tag them in the comments or share it to your page, and make sure that somebody else has this information, this wealth of knowledge shared with them on today. God bless you all. I love you with the love of the Lord, and I'll see you on tomorrow.